Welcome to the podcast, Truck Hauling Talks. I'm John Jackson. The goal of this podcast is to bring you thoughtful discussions, interesting points of views, insights, and valuable information that you can apply to your trucking operation. The podcast is dedicated to exploring the most pressing transportation challenges from development and start to implementation. Truck Hauling Talks believes that transportation is an essential part of our daily lives and is passionate about finding ways to make it more sustainable, efficient, and profitable for drivers and small businesses. Thank you for listening to Truck Hauling Talks. Now here's this week's podcast.
The argument is that state in question is not getting their fair share of the fuel purchases, if you follow me.
Yes, I do follow you on that. Now, on the flip side of that, I do know of owners of companies that would do just the opposite of what we're talking about, and they would take advantage of going through those states with high tax rates because they would get a better return on that. Have you seen that? Have you had drivers who mention that to you, that they always, if they're in Florida, they're going to fuel there, if they're in Carolina, fueling there, or Pennsylvania, California, different places? Have you heard that?
No, but that's a good point. But no, I have not. I think most of the drivers they're not looking at the year end.
Right.
They're looking at where they're at right now financially. Right now, and I think maybe a few months down the road. A lot of them are not looking at that possible tax break at the end.
Yeah.
They're looking at the fact like right now. What are we going to pay per quarter?
Right.
For those miles and the fuel.
Okay. Hey, drivers, I don't know. Weigh in on this. How are you looking at it? How are you doing your fuel purchases? Are you going through those high states? Are you just fueling in the states with better rates or better pricing? Or are you taking advantage of the year-end returns on your quarterly taxes that you're paying for the fuel by fueling in those states with high gas purchase prices and higher taxes? Let me know. Let us know in the comments. This is John with Truck Hauling Talks. I'm talking with Chanel White with Wisdom and Authority Title Solutions, and we're talking about IFTA taxes, the quarterly taxes that are being paid out, and how she is available to handle certain parts of your IFTA process. But as far as the filing for your quarterly taxes, she's not a fan of it. But she's giving helpful information on how you can proceed to do it in a way that will keep you from being audited as a company, as a owner-operator. I think this is great information. She's always giving out nuggets. I say that in earlier podcasts. She's always giving us good nuggets that we can apply to our everyday job in trucking. Okay, Chanel, where did we leave off? I'm sorry. Where did we leave off, Chanel, on that? We were talking about the taxes, and I just chirped in a little bit on the high taxes that people pay. Mm-hmm. Some people are willing to pay the higher taxes for a bigger return. What do you have any other things that you can help us with in this area?
Also, I just want to add, when it comes to your IFTA, I want you guys to be mindful of weight distance states, because these states, they also play a part with your quarterly IFTA tax filing. Mm-hmm. So let me explain. The weight distance states are going to be New York. You got your New York HUT. You got Oregon. You have New Mexico, and you have Kentucky. Okay, so if you're going to be going through these states frequently, you will need to get applicable permits in those states as well, and they will be filed in accordance with your quarterly IFTA tax. So keep those 4 states in mind: New Mexico, Oregon, New York, and Kentucky.
Okay. Can you go over that a little bit with us? What is HUT? I'm a new driver. I don't know.
So the weight distance states are, based on the weight that you're going to be, hauling and port of entry in those states as well. There's different regulations in place with those states. They have additional filing requirements as well, and they have to be filed quarterly, in addition to that permit that you will have on your truck from that particular state. Okay, tolls, all of those things are factors as well pertaining to those weight distance states. So, keep that in mind, especially in New York. Though, it really ties to the filing of your IFTA. So even though you have the quarterly IFTA tax, you will also be required to file for those states that you are going to be frequenting, like again, New York, New Mexico, Oregon, and Kentucky as well. Now, if you don't file for those states and you have accounts with those states, then you will also have a penalty as well. So it's just an additional filing based on the weight of the vehicle that you have in the port of entry, as well. So those are just little nuggets I hope you keep close to your mind.
Another golden nugget. With New York, is it every 2 or 3 years you have to get another sticker? I'm not.
It's two.
Two. Okay.
It's 2 years.
Okay.
But the HUD is just very, very complex. It's a very complex matter.
What about the other states? Is it every 2 years for those? I'm not familiar
It's every
with that.
year. It's every year. But again, only get them if your load pertains to that, or if you really need it. Because I've seen some people get the Kentucky or the KYU and they don't really need it. If you don't really anticipate going through these states a lot, then don't even bother, because it would be an additional fees that you will have to add on.
Okay.
And keep in mind, if you don't file those states in question quarterly with your IFTA tax, you will face penalties and interest for not filing. And also a stop can be on your record as well if you don't file in a timely manner.
Okay.
And let me just add, if you have these accounts with these states and your cab is down, you're not in operations, even though that's the case, you still would be required to file no operations for these states as well.
Okay. Wow, it's a lot of paperwork.
It is. But the thing about it, these states, they do allow electronic filing, so that's the good news. And that's pretty much where a lot of the states are moving towards nowadays, the digital filing, e-filing in this industry. That's where everything is headed towards.
Okay. Well, are there any, I guess there's software and apps available for drivers to help them keep things in order for this?
It is. Now, I will say this when it comes, and now I know you're going to probably ask me this question, John, but I'm going to beat you to the punch. I don't have a particular ELD company, that I'm a fan of. I've seen different types of ELD, some better than others, but be very careful when you're getting your ELD. A lot of the ELDs is mainly for the miles, and you guys will have to find another approach to take care of your IFTA part, like the receipts and things of that nature. So try to find a system that can, do both in terms of your logs or your records, if you can, versus just having one that can only do your miles. See if they have an all-in-one, approach. If not, you will be required to keep those receipts. And the problem with the fuel receipts is they fade over time and they can get destroyed. You can lose them. They're so thin. So we go back to record keeping. That record keeping part is going to be very essential when it comes to you preparing for your IFTA tax filing.
Okay, thank you again for that great information. Is there anything pertaining to the IFTA process? Well, let me ask you this. You do the filing for helping companies dealing with IFTA, getting them started, correct? You said you are.
So if you're trying to get your IFTA, if you're a first time, I can set you up with that.
Okay.
If you need to renew, same thing. If you're adding a vehicle to your fleet or taking one out pertaining to your IFTA filing, I can do that. Okay. It's just not the quarterly IFTA tax.
I understand. All right. That's Chanel with Wisdom and Authority Title Solutions, and she will help you with your IFTA setup process for established companies as well as new drivers who are becoming owner-operators, or if you're a lease driver and you're responsible for your fuel records, she'll be able to help you with that also. And you can find her channel on YouTube at Wisdom and Authority Title Solutions, and you can also find her at Wisdom and Authority TitleSolutions.com, I believe. Is that your email?
It is wisdomandauthority.com as the website, and the email is wisdomandauthority@hotmail.com.
Hotmail, okay. All right. So there you have it. Drivers, thank you for tuning in with us for Truck Hauling Talks, and be safe out there, and we will see you next week. Truck Hauling Talks can't make this podcast a success alone. You'll be joining a transportation community who share the same dedication to this important topic. Not only will you hear about the latest videos when you subscribe, but you'll also have the opportunity to engage with Truck Hauling Talks and other subscribers in the comments section. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and explore the world of transportation with us. Be safe, driver.